Right, so the Bell MX-9 Adventure, or the MX-9 Mimps, or whatever. Right, review this helmet. You know what? I'm going to start with the bad, but before I do, bit of background information. I'm Big Pezza, and if you're new to the channel, you didn't know, I've used one of these helmets for quite a few years now. This is my second one, and I've done about 100,000 miles between both helmets over the years that I've owned. I think I owned the first one for 5, and I've owned this one for 2 or 3. So, you know, that's quite of, 100,000 miles isn't that unreasonable, is it? About just over 10,000 a year, something like that. So yeah, I'll start with the bad, but remember, this is my second helmet, so I must have liked it enough to buy another one. Right, so the bad. Well, we'll start with the colour and design. So, like I say, these are probably a cheap helmet, built in China, I think they are. And the colour. Now, I live in United Kingdom, or England, to be more precise, and here we are known for having sunshine. Well, the lack of sunshine. So what does this look like after a few years? Now, this one's only been in England. The other helmet went through about 20 plus countries, 25 plus countries, some very hot countries. And the colour faded. But I thought, okay, well, I was going through some really hot countries, sunshine all the time. Maybe that's what caused the damage. This one has faded over time. You can't really tell, but as I see, I've removed the peak. You can see where the peak's been protecting it from the sun. You can see the colour fade difference is very strong. Now, all helmets do fade over time eventually, but it happens on these a lot faster. The quality of the paint or the finish isn't the best, but let's say it is a cheaper helmet, so you are paying for certain things aren't all there. As long as the minimum safety requirements are there, I'm not too fussed about the paint fading, to be honest, but some people might be, so if that annoys you, if the paint fading annoys you, then you're going to love the next one. Now, this is one with the MIPS, but my one before didn't have the MIPS. If you've got one that didn't have the MIPS, and it's got, say, like a pattern. Now, this is where you have like a pattern at the top, you have like a pattern that comes down the back. I think on my one, the pattern that came down here somewhere, it's supposed to be central. It wasn't. It was out by a couple of millimetres. So anyone out there who's already got one of these, and if it's got a pattern on it, look at the pattern very carefully. It might be out a few mils. Mine was out just a couple of millimetres. So once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. But yeah, that would have. I know that some people would have driven them nuts. So if you're going to buy one of these helmets, look it over, see what the pattern is. Like I say, it's not the thing. My helmet is, it's one solid colour. Okay, it's not the best colour, but at least maybe it will cause drivers to look twice. Makes me look a bit like a policeman, to be honest, because my bike's white, but I don't wear a polite vest. The next bad thing, I guess you could say, would be the noise. Okay, so it's not the quietest helmet, but you're not paying the big money. Around 60 miles an hour, anything over that, it starts to get a bit noisy. Around 60 miles an hour, it gets a bit noisy. Wear earplugs, whatever. Plenty of room for earplugs and for your intercom, which I've got a center on this one. No built-in sun visor, but you've got, no built-in sunglasses, but you've got the peak on, which is great. Didn't happen on my other one, but I found this has gotten looser over time, and no matter how hard I tighten down these bolts, this doesn't seem to get any better. Before my old one, it used to click, like very forceful, click into place at the top, and it was fine, it would stay there all day. But this one seems to... it's loose, which is really annoying, so I have to every now and then undo all of these and like reinforce it with a bit of like electrical tape just to make it thicker so that it locks into place better, which, okay, it's actually really annoying because I'm riding along and I like to have it open, and if I overtake, going about 40 miles an hour, I'll have this open, I'll have goggles in or something, and suddenly that slams down. That makes me jump sometimes. So yeah, but that's only happened on this helmet. It didn't happen on my other helmet, and the other helmet had more miles than this one did, and that one had no problems for its entire lifespan. Like I say, quality control, who knows, maybe it's gone over time in here, not sure what's happened. Maybe my visor needs replacing or something. The visor's not a pin lock either, by the way, so just remember that, it's not a pin lock. But it doesn't really bother me too much because there is so much airflow with this helmet that I never really have a problem with it fogging up. And when it's raining and stuff, I tend to ride I don't know, sometimes I ride with the lid open anyway. Depends what I'm doing. Depends if I'm going far or not. But yeah, there is no pin lock in this one. So just just a reminder that you have to control your breathing. Otherwise you are going to fog up. You could use this on a racetrack. I don't know if I'd want to, but it is certified for race use. Temperature wise, you don't have very many options, unfortunately, with this one. You've got some back vents, some very small back vents, which help get rid of some of the heat, but it's not the coolest helmet. You haven't got any extra vents to open. There's nothing you can do. So it's, yeah, you're kind of stuck. When it gets hot in here. But I've ridden through plus 40 degrees in this, and I've been hot, but at that point it doesn't really matter how hot I think I was. This is fine. You can put your visor open and you've got even more airflow. Although, to be honest, when you're in that sort of temperature, it's actually warmer to keep the helmet shut. Now, the last bad thing, I guess you could say, and it's happened to me quite a few times, there's a gap here. Now, on other helmets, on premium helmets, this is much more flush, or it's covered over or something, but this gap here seems to catch things. And I think I've pulled out a few wasps from here. I've been on the ride, I've obviously hit something here, and it's gone in there. And I've had one bee in there, and definitely more than one wasp land right in here. It's been a case of me very carefully unscrewing this and taking this off and getting rid of the thing. But it's always been dead, or close enough to dead where I've just had to finish it off. So it's a bit of a killer, or it traps them anyway. The good with these, well, they've been out for quite a while now. You can get the different colour visors, lots of accessories. All this pops out from in here. Of course, it doesn't have that quick release for the emergency services, but it all does pop out from in here, which is really nice. So you can take it all out to wash it, because let's face it, you're going to get a bit sweaty in the lid if you're doing off-roading. Works with goggles. I've had no problems with that. It's been a decent-ish off-road lid that's just going to get, a bit battered and stuff off-road. It's going to get scraped and stuff, scratches and stuff. You possibly don't want to spend all that money on a nice big fancy shoey or something like that, because they can be a bit too dear. These cheaper helmets might be worth having a look at. Anyway, that's my review of the Bell MX-9 Adventure. Thanks for watching.